ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining today. The last week before the end of the week, end of the year, last class. So last week we discussed many concepts of Karma Yoga. Discussed about how Yajna produces rain. Oh no, I think we didn't discuss this. Yeah. We discussed a very important concept of how to understand about uh, demigods. If you all remember, we discussed about demigods. Who are demigods? Anybody wants to answer quickly? Can anyone answer me? Who are demigods?
The Devis and Devtas.
Yeah, Devis and Devatas. They're higher living entities who are uh, basically in charge of various material affairs. Right? They're 33 crore demigods. Indra, Varuna, Vayu, all these people come under that. Um, we discussed science versus, you know, in science we don't really deal anything beyond what we see, right? So in that conception, we see many mechanisms which may appear like they don't need any superior control. For example, I was discussing about rains. When rains, we all understand how rains forms. There is a clear mechanism. There is a cycle. Uh, you know, water bodies exist on the land, and sun evaporates the water, and clouds form. From clouds, when they are condensed, rain pours. But if we were to mimic that, as I mentioned, it's not economically viable, and that was rejected by many countries. That experiment was performed because rains are not even everywhere. So, so they thought they can mimic the nature's mechanism of rainfall. They only saw the mechanism and how it is working, and they tried to mimic, and it was a failed experiment because even though it appears simple mechanism, it doesn't mean that it automatically happens without any control. Uh, so there are there are mechanisms. Of course, the mechanism is correct, but that's not everything. That's not the only thing that controls rains. That's what we should understand. There are these personalities like Indra and other demigods for other affairs who actually manage everything else, everything at a higher level. Um, so I was giving the example of water pipe from the from the city to the villages. The way, if a village wants water, they can either approach the officials of the city and pay the taxes and get an official or a bona fide pipeline to their city, to their village, and get the water supply. On the other hand, somebody can observe, okay, this is the pipeline that is transporting water from here to here. I can make a hole and get the water out. And basically intervene in the process by understanding the mechanism, just the mechanism behind the water supply, and exploiting it for their own purpose. So that is another way of getting. That's exactly science, how science works. It doesn't see where it is coming from, where it is going. They see that this mechanism exists and they see how they can benefit from it. So these two are not exact opposites. Like, if uh, I mean, both ways are valid in terms of how they are going to produce result. If you want water, you can do either punch a hole in the pipeline, or legally pay taxes and get it. So the Vedas prescribed methods to get rain and all Like there are certain yagnas you can perform that are given in Vedas that would produce rains if performed appropriately as prescribed. So similarly, people can do some exploitation in nature and get rains, right? So that's also possible. Both are both are approaches to get it, but all of us understand what is you know the right and bona fide way. So that was the difference in approach in terms of getting our necessities that were followed by the Vedic principles versus the current, scientific approach towards the same. I mean, we're trying to produce more things nowadays out of by exploiting nature. They're never in line with the in harmony with the nature, right? Uh, because there is no faith at all in Vedas. But Vedas have enough wisdom to uh, to give us our necessities in a very legitimate way, in harmony with nature, without disturbing any cycle or without intervening with uh, nature in unwanted ways. Hmm? So that's what we can understand from the previous section of verses. And towards this, yeah, I we will discuss this verse. Yagnasishtasanas Yajnasishtasinassanto muchyante sarvakilvishai bhunjate tva agam papam ye pachanti atmakaranat. So this verse talks about how by offering food before we consume to the Lord, a devotee is released of all sinful reactions. Hmm? So we were discussing how we can offer food. So I thought maybe I can show you a video quickly how food is offered to Krishna before we eat. Okay. Shall we watch for like it takes only like 3 minutes, three and a half, 4 minutes.
Hare Krishna. Today we are going to learn how to offer food to Lord. So today we have cooked this preparation. We've taken each preparation separately in a plate, and now this plate is totally used only for offering to the Lord. Nobody else eats in this plate. So I have taken these items now. Now we have freshly plucked or whatever stored in the refrigerator. Also, one can do it. These are tulsi leaves which are washed. I'm going to add each in each item. Now, after adding these tulsi leaves, I will just put the curtain to the altar. And whenever there is offering to be made to the Lord, simultaneously while speaking a mantra, one has to ring the bell. So first we are going to offer to Guru by Guru Pranati, then Lord Chaitanya by Pranam mantra to Lord Chaitanya, and to Lord Krishna by another mantra which is spoken for Lord Krishna. These three mantras have to be spoken because we have to offer food to the Lord in Guru Parampara. For speaking this pranam mantra, one can decide in their house how many minutes they want to give the offering to the Lord. It can be 2 minutes, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes. So after that time, again we will remove the offering. So now I have waited for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to remove the offering. Before removing the offering, again I'm going to ring my bell and then take the curtain out. Now this food which was offered to the Lord, now they are accepted, and now it has become Bhoga Prasad. Now I'm going to mix each item which I had taken separately in the original vessels where it was cooked, and everybody who eats from that vessel is partaking the prasad of the Lord.
I hope that was useful. Any questions on that? On what all of you saw about offering bhoga to the Lord before honoring prasadam? So what? Anybody has any questions? So the anybody? No.
Hare Krishna
Okay,
Prabhuji.
thank you for showing that. It was helpful.
Yeah, Aranya Mataji, you were saying something?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I had a question. So they put the curtain around. I mean, we have like murti at home, but we don't have like a door or a curtain or anything around there. So at
Mhm.
night, what we do is that the platform in which we have that has a light. So I turn that off, and that's all we do. So should
Mhm.
I be having like a curtain or something? I just offer, and I've never thought that there you have to do the curtain and cover.
Yeah. So the idea of curtain is to give them some kind of privacy while they're partaking prasadam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if you don't have, do you have it in a separate room or in the same hall? That every,
This is actually like a loft area, so we don't usually go in there. Like it's not a separate room per se, but it's like full loft, like in the like upstairs.
oh, then it is okay. If you come out of loft and you don't stay around there, just giving the time for the Lord to partake the prasadam. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And
so in case if we are speaking something or if you are making some actions, running around, talking, that should not disturb the Lord. That's the whole idea of
got it.
yeah.
Also, Prabhuji, the tulsi leaves, like we never like put tulsi leaves on the prasadam. Like this is the first
Mm,
that I'm seeing that, but we do
mm.
have tulsi leaves at home, like two tulsi plants. So is this like every time we offer, we put a tulsi leaf on top?
Yes. We should have tulsi on top of each of the food item, at least one tulsi leaf. In the West, though Mataji is from Mumbai, so she was able to have fresh tulsi leaves. But in case in the West, right, Prabhupada was fine. Prabhupada means who actually taught all of these instructions to us. He was
Mm,
fine if you even have dry leaves, dry tulsi leaves.
got it.
Yeah, if you don't have tulsi leaf, you can, you can in the mind say that at this point you could not arrange that. But otherwise, if you have it, you should put that tulsi leaf.
Sure.
Ideally, we should have tulsi leaf on the food item, each item. At least dry leaves is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Keep dry leaves because here, in the winter especially, it's very uh, painful to cut her green leaves.
Mm-hmm.
She's barely surviving in the winter, not very healthy. It's it's not a very ideal time for her to live herself. So we don't want to cut green leaves. If
Mm-hmm.
some leaves are drying out, they are weak, so we take them out. We generally take them out on any day other than Ekadasi, Dwadasi, and Sunday. Excluding these 3 days, you can take on any other days. We should not cut leaves on these 3 days.
Got it.
Especially Dwadasi, we should not cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Prabhuji, I didn't know like once the when the leaves, if it falls down, like you can you offer because it falls into like the pot that has dirt and all that, right? So I was not sure like once the leaf is dry, you it's still like holy and you can use that in prasadam.
I mean, if it is in pot and the pot is not stepped down by anyone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it is okay if if you can wash them nicely.
Mm,
Otherwise, the dry leaves before they fall down on the plant itself, you can take them out.
got it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Everyone knows the mantras, or do you want us to send you the three mantras?
If you can send Prabhuji, I think I have a book that has these mantras, like a small book from the temple.
Sure. Okay.
So
Anyone else has any questions?
can you
But
send the mantras?
yes, we'll send that Sri Vidya Mataji.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else has anything else? Okay. It this is going to be a big change in your life. Offering boga and eating prasadam, that will transform your entire family. Even though it appears like a small activity, it has the highest impact.
Prabhu, can you explain the significance of tulsi when offering a prasad? That would also help people
Yes.
understand
Yeah.
what
The
is the
reason. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for bringing that out. So the reason we offer tulsi leaf is because we are not devotees of Lord at this point, at least. We are not, lovers of God like Mirabai or any of these great devotees. They have natural, spontaneous love. The whole idea of Bhakti Yoga is to get to that stage. Right now, we have attraction for cars, homes, or kids. We have all these strong attachments, but we don't have such attachment for God at this point. We have interest. That's what the reason you're all here. The whole idea of Bhakti Yoga is to develop that natural love for God. And these processes are, serving Lord, all these things. Why do you serve somebody? So that you develop some kind of relationship with him, right? All these processes. Now, at this point, we are not even eligible to offer with love to God. And Krishna clearly says in the future chapter that I will not accept anything with which is not offered with love. Love is a essential ingredient. So at this point, we don't have natural love. We pray to Lord, but until we develop that, we need the help of uh, some great devotee. And Tulsi Maharani is a very dear devotee of the Lord, Tulsi Devi. Wherever she is, the home that she is present, that whole place is auspicious place. There will not be any uh, calamities in that area. And she is an eternal devotee of the Lord who is, and Krishna himself says in scriptures that he will accept bhoga that is offered with tulsi in that food, right? So because we are not devotee, we want to take the aid of Tulsi Devi, who is a devotee. Just like if you want to meet Prime Minister and you don't have any connection, you don't have any relation, you cannot reach him. You need a connection. You need somebody who knows Prime Minister, who likes Prime, who was trusted by Prime Minister, and who also have you know trust in you. He can become a good mediator for you to connect with Prime Minister, right? So similarly, we need we need some help in between us who are not, we are trying to be devotees, and the Lord, the Supreme Lord. So we need somebody to connect us to Lord. So Tulsi Maharani acts as that, you know helping force for us to, uh, in everything we do, especially in bhoga, we offer in each item tulsi leaf. And when tulsi leaf is there, that food item is accepted by Lord happily, because tulsi is there, right? So now when we make that consideration to put tulsi leaf in the food, Lord would accept it. And when Lord accepts it, that becomes bhoga, becomes prasadam. It's spiritualized. Now, when you take that food and put that back in your cooked items, anybody who honors that food in that vessels that were cooked, that they're all eating prasadam, right? So that's the whole idea. And when somebody eats prasadam, their sins will be destroyed and there won't be any sin in eating. Otherwise, as I said, there will be some reaction because food also involves some killing, right? All the vegetables, all the plants that are killed, there will be some minor reaction, at least, even if it is vegetable made of just vegetarian diet. Okay, so that's the whole idea of why we offer uh, bhoga to the Lord, and it's very easy. It takes only 5 extra minutes for you, like she was telling. It takes 2 minutes to chant the mantra. The important thing is we should have a plate separately only for Lord. We should not eat in that plate. Plate, glass, and couple of cups. If you have them dedicated for Lord, you can buy in any Indian store a separate plate for him and use that only for him. Keep it in a very uh, safe place where it doesn't by mistake mix with other vessels like
Prabhu,
that.
Tulsi leaves are only for Vishnu, Tattva, right? So can you a little bit give that
Uh,
it should not be offered to any other
yeah,
Tattva?
yeah. Also, when you offer the the food should be offered to the deity of Vishnu only because Tulsi is consort of Vishnu and she cannot be offered to anybody else. Means any other demigods you should not offer. So it can be any Vishnu form, ideally Krishna's form, but any form of Vishnu, whether it is Narsimha, Vamana, any of these Vishnu Tattva forms is fine.
But
Yeah, thank you,
in our
Prabhu.
home, we'll be having other gods also, and
Hmm.
goddess, Ganapati, all pictures we'll have.
Uh,
So,
do you have Krishna also in that
yeah, Krishna
altar?
also. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, then, but when you offer in your mind, you should have Krishna. Then it is going to Krishna, and Krishna will give to others naturally. That's how it works. When Krishna is there, nobody is going to jump in and take it. So, so that will
Okay.
not happen. So, but in your mind also be consciously praying to Krishna to accept the offering. That way, so it's not a problem as long as you have Krishna deity in that altar also. Generally, right, if prime minister is there with all the assembled um, cabinet minister, who will take the presidents? Generally
Yes.
the prime minister, unless
King.
he starts eating, nobody else jumps in to eat his plate, right? It
Yes.
works in that hierarchy anyway.
One question on Tulsi ji. Tulsi also has like lot of immunity, provides immunity as well. Is there a rationale for that? That's why we use that, because it provides so much immunity. And if you put that in food, even if the food doesn't provide you that immunity, it would be provided through Tulsi.
Yeah, so that is that aspects are also there. Ayurvedic aspect you're talking about. Yeah, Tulsi is very you know Tulsi has a lot of medicinal benefits, but that is not the only consideration. Actually, that's a subsidiary consideration. It's not the main consideration. Those are all side benefits. You know, when so the way spiritual process works is any spiritual process, whether it is japa, when you chant mantra like the one we did in the beginning of the class, the primarily it connects your soul to Krishna. That is the primary aspect. On the side benefit, it also gives you peace of mind, auspiciousness in your home. But these are all material things. These are not what the reason we actually do meditation. The higher, spirit, anything, any process you take up spiritually, like listening to Gita classes, there is a higher spiritual benefit for which we seek. And when as a side benefit you get all these other things also, just like when uh, you know when an IAS of when in India, if you become a cabinet minister, for example, right, the guy doesn't want to become a cabinet minister because he gets a car and tunes. Those are all side benefits, they all are there. but the primary reason is he wants to serve people, and this particular position helps him to do that. So there is a primary reason and secondary reason, right? So these material benefits that you get by consuming tulsi, or by consuming vegetarian diet, these are all there. Any spiritual process has side material benefits, but they are not the primary reason for these. The primary and the essential reason is, uh, you will not develop sins. You will not incur sins by acting in this. That's the idea of understanding Gita. We are looking at the spiritual aspects, not just the material aspects. Is that making it clear, Niti Mataji?
Ha ha. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Mhm. Lakshmi
Like,
Mataji.
is there anything like what type of food we can offer to the god? Like, sometimes we cook with the onions and garlic. So, is there any restriction? Like, only this kind of food should be offered,
Yeah.
like that?
Yes. Yes, Mataji. Ideally, not ideally actually. um, we should not. We should offer only vegetarian diet. That's the first thing. Second thing is two extra items, which is onion and garlic. These two things should not be offered to God. These are food in the mode of tamas good. So we should not be offering. So in case if your family consumes these, the um, ideal way of offering is first cook food without these items, and you can mix it later if you want to. And the the whole but as you start taking prasadam, I've been doing this for almost 15 years now. When you start eating prasadam that is offered to God, it has a different taste. You may think it is the same food. What is the difference? No, it is actually transcendental. You can feel the difference as you start offering with focus and attention to the Lord for the pleasure of Lord. When Lord accepts your bhoga, the food's taste would change because it has the mercy of the Lord. It tastes way different. That's why many of you would have visited ISKCON temples. Did you feel the taste of prasadam? Did you like it when you ate prasadam?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
It's
It
way
will be
different.
completely very different taste.
Exactly.
So,
It's
yeah, we cannot get the taste anywhere.
exactly, that's the reason is the food is offered with love for God, and God has kindly accepted that food, and that is the primary reason for the taste. And when the cook is cooking also, he was thinking, he was chanting the name of Lord, that transcendentalizes the food. Did you all eat Tirupati laddu? Any of you? All of you would have eaten, I guess. Nobody. So
Yes.
why the taste comes? The taste is not because of the greatness of the cooking skills of the cook. Whoever cooks in that Tirupati mandir, you know whether the generations are changing, but the taste remains the same because they all follow certain procedure and how they meditate in terms of when they're making these laddus, and how they offer to the Lord, how it comes out in prasadam and distributed. Whether yeah. So in any place where when you eat food offered to Vishnu, whether it is chakar pongal or daddozan or whatever, any of these items, they taste very different than um, food that is sold in any sweetmeat shops, because it is accepted with Lord, and when it is accepted with Lord, it has the mercy of Lord, and it has a different taste. It has the saliva of the Lord, and so it tastes very different. Um,
Two more,
and
two more questions. So, you mentioned that we have to have a separate plate for Krishna. So,
mm,
after the after offering, we have to take that plate and then divide everything to the people in at home. Is that correct?
after you take out, in that it says you have a small cup of rice. Take that cup of rice and put it back in the
Main
vessel
main
where you cooked the rice. So that way
Okay.
it mixes with everything else, and the
Okay.
entire food becomes prasadam. Take the sabji cup, put that back in the sabji, cooked, and it becomes prasadam. So like that, you have to put back everything in its own dish.
Okay. And tulasi also we can eat. Is that
Yes, tulsi also you can eat. Yes, yeah, tulsi
and
is can be eaten.
one more question. So every time before start making the prasadam, should we take a shower like with head bath and do, or is it okay if we take a
No,
normal bath?
no, head bath is not necessary. And
Okay.
but when you cook, you should take bath before you start cooking.
Super start.
Uh,
Yes.
Sometimes people miss to take bath before they start their stove. Uh, this cannot be done like that because we are offering, something like if you are dealing with prime minister, if you are tomorrow prime minister is coming to your home, or president is coming to your home, how do you deal with that? You have so much care and attention in everything you do, right?
Right.
So that's the same tendency towards the Lord. Uh, Ideally, those who are, studying Gita and practicing, we treat our home as God's home. It's not our home. It is we are only a trustee in the home, and the altar is the main location of the home where God is placed, and everything surrounds that. Everything in the home is actually um, like a secondary to that place, and before you go out of home, you bow down to the Lord. When you enter the home, first thing is bow down to the Lord, and you maintain that consciousness that He is the master of the home. I am actually servant of Him. So if you become like this for a period of time, you see such a big change in your consciousness, and you get purified every single day, and you offer food to God and eat prasadam. Your life becomes very simple and easy and happy ultimately. And you chant the name of God. These are very simple principles, they don't take much time, but you see a sea of change in your life. And you become a happy person all the time, no matter what, how many difficulties come into you in your life. You have the protection and help of the Lord because you are trying to connect with Lord in every instance, in every moment of your life, right? Is that okay? Anything else?
Prabhuji, I have a question. So one of the Matajis asked about tulsi leaves, right? Like in India, you if you have like throat pain and all that, you put tulsi leaves in this medicine that you make. But I read somewhere recently that you are not supposed to use tulsi leaves for your own self, but only as an offering to the Lord. Like, and you should not ever cook the tulsi leaves. Is that like does like is called like you believe that is that something that we should follow?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to consume tulsi, you can, you know, whatever that, kashaya or whatever you make it and put tulsi leaf in it and offer to Lord and, take it. That's easiest way to
Yeah.
do it.
Makes sense. And then one other question is, Prabhuji, this is just in general, like cooking,
Mm.
right? You said without garlic, like I think I can manage because I started doing that. But without onions, like that's kind of like the base for everything that we have traditionally made. So I honestly don't know how to cook without onion, and that's my biggest challenge. Garlic I've cut off like since I think the
Mm.
last 2 weeks I haven't used garlic. I just use a lot of ginger.
Mm.
But onion, I don't know, Prabhuji. So I,
Yeah, you don't need to change tomorrow. Uh, and in fact, I was like that too. And my wife was surprised when we got married. She was, she's not aware of any of these things, and she was kind of shocked. But initially, it was okay for me to just go along the way she was doing, and I'm fine. I mean, I wouldn't take that part. But over a period of time, she felt it's not really needed for the flavor. We're able to do much tastier food without that.
hmm,
But everyone takes their time. There's no urgency in to stop any of these things right away. All I'm saying is at this point, when you offer to Lord, don't mix that onion at that point. You can mix it later. And slowly, slowly, as you feel the there is no need for it. It should come naturally. It should not, or tomorrow I should stop eating onion. It cannot happen like that. Nothing happens all of a sudden, right? Everything should take its own natural course of time. Um,
So in
how-
our home, on Saturdays and on Ekadashi, some auspicious days and all,
mm,
they don't use onion. So maybe
mm.
before the beginning,
Yeah, that's a
we,
good beginning. That's a good
yeah.
beginning. Yeah, that's a good beginning. And continue like that. I mean, this is not like tomorrow you're doing, right? This is a lifetime process that you're trying to follow. So, or a period of people take years. I know people who take years to uh, get to the ideal standard. It's all right. Every home is different. Every family is different. And when you when you stop cooking certain things, if your spouse is not happy with that, that's not what we want. We want everybody to be happy with what we do. Okay, so don't suddenly change anything that you're doing at your home and try to uh, get in any kind of arguments at home. That's not required, by the way. you
So
know
Prabhu,
the most important thing is to accept the positives. The most important thing is, even if you're eating meat and all, that's fine for now. I'm not even concerned about that. Start chanting the name every day, at least 10 minutes. Okay, start chanting the name, start praying every day. Spend like couple of minutes at least to be in the altar. Read one or two slokas. Continue to do these positives. When you feel naturally, okay, I'm not so interested in eating non-vegetarian, let me reduce it, or you can reduce it initially, and then slowly actually you lose taste for it. And that's what happened. That's what I heard from many people. And because you're highly spiritual, you don't feel any taste for these lower things. Your whole perception changes as you chant every single day. It takes time. It's not like tomorrow you'll be different, right?
Mhm.
It'll take time. Yeah.
Prabhuji, it's not just losing taste. Like I read this book, I think it was Srila Prabhupada's book that talks about how there's a soul for animals, and that's kind of when I stopped. Every time I try to eat non-veg, I can see blood. Like I feel like, oh my God, this, up until then I never thought like that. I never thought that, this is like, killing or taking a life or any of that. Once
Yeah.
I read that book, it gave me a whole different perspective, and every like since then I cannot have like a taste for non-veg food.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we learn about that through future chapters. But so I have seen some people who were hesitant to chant the names and study Bhagavad Gita because they have these habits of eating meat and they couldn't stop. I don't want anybody to feel that I have to stop tomorrow and I have to because I'm chanting. It's not like that. Everything takes its own time. I agree with what you said, Aranya Mataji. However, I don't want anybody to feel discouraged that they have these habits and that they could not stop. Yes, animals, and that's what we are discussing. Even eating plants like grains and dal, all these items, they all come from living entities. Nothing comes from dead matter. Everything we eat comes from life. And so that's the reason we offer bhoga to the Lord. Then there won't be any sin in eating. If you cannot do the offering that was mentioned here, okay, like the way it was mentioned, at least pray to the Lord um, before eating. Be in gratitude, thank the Lord for what is given to you, and eat. That's the beginning. I'm telling all the levels, like beginning and the good standard and the best standard, right? So take from wherever you are to the next level and be comfortable there and get to the you you always want to the get to the best level, right? But do not feel sad or disappointed that you're not able to follow anything. It comes naturally. We are for many lifetimes we are doing what we are doing right now. So to change our inclinations or taste is not like a single day change that will happen. Okay, so take your time, but keep this in mind. This is where you want to get to. The faster you get, the better progress in Krishna consciousness that you will experience. And yeah, so that's why. But don't feel that, oh, I'm not able to do so. Should I continue chanting the mantra? No. So positive should continue. Negatives will vanish slowly. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu. I just wanted to share my experience, Prabhu, if you allow
Yes,
me.
Prabhuji. Sure,
Sorry
Prabhuji.
if you are
Yeah.
getting late.
Please.
I'm sorry. So when I joined Bhagavad Gita class, previous ones, so earlier I especially myself were eating onion garlic, and without onion garlic, I never thought of food. And I started chanting, and definitely helped a lot. But then taste for onion garlic did not go right away. So there are three things happened that the tests change. One is we used to eat temple prasadam. It was used to be very tasty. My son used to like so much, and he said, "Mama, you don't make my." She used to say to my wife that you don't make the such a tasty dal, such a tasty rice, which is in temple. So that prasadam had a effect. One. So okay, so that onion without onion garlic, it can be tasty. Number one. Second thing was my son got a book, Why Not to Eat Onion Garlic from ISKCON, and he read and he was teaching us why not to eat onion garlic. So that put us back saying, okay, I don't want to eat it while you're eating it. So that was a little bit a reverse. Third one was my wife started trying some of the sabjis once in a while initially to make it non onion garlic, and they were testing same or even better. And I said, okay, I'm not really losing or I'm not missing onion garlic in this sabji. So maybe we should continue a little bit more and more, and gradually we took out onion garlic from our diet. So this is just to share how the whole progression happened. So as Prabhu explained, number one is chanting and reading. Definitely, this is the number one. And diet definitely helped us a lot, but diet does come gradually. Do not force yourself, but make a small changes. It will eventually get you there, and very nicely, and you'll be very happy with that change.
Thank you, Nitin Prabhu, for
Hare
sharing
Krishna.
your personal experience. That is, that's what people want to hear, how it has worked for you. Thank you
Thank
for sharing that
you. Hare Krishna.
very nice way. Yeah.
One more question I have. So, what about coffee and tea? Is that also prohibited? Or I could stop drinking coffee, but tea I'm still having. So, is ISKCON asking not to drink them also?
There is an alternative for both of them. We don't reject it, but there is a non-caffeine version of tea
Yes.
and coffee in ISKCON. That's what we recommend. You can get in our temples, any of these temples, non-caffeine version. It tastes exactly like the the caffeine version, because the reason we don't want to take is uh, the outside tea and coffee has caffeine.
Intoxication.
Caffeine intoxication. Caffeine would affect your consciousness. We'd never want to become delirious in our consciousness, or artificially pump up our consciousness. So there is a alternative we use. But again, if you're currently using and you don't have it right away, don't stop tomorrow. Continue to that and go to your nearby temple. uh, Even what is that coffee, Prabhu? In even it's available in
I think Mataji already shared with Robius tea, or I think
yeah.
in a Whole Food you have a bunch of those coffees.
I think
And
rooibos tea, that is what I remember. I came to know about this tea from ISKCON only, rooibos tea.
yes,
Reverse tea, yes, yeah, that one.
yeah,
And
I'll
then
share.
there's
I'll share a couple of
Gokul,
those
Gokul tea
links.
also, right? Prabhu, Gokul tea we
Yeah,
get.
Gokul tea is only in temple, but Prabhu,
Mm.
like Nescafe kind of coffee, you get in a Whole Food. So there are a couple of the things that my wife got it
Mm.
from Whole Food, which is like caffeine-free coffee.
And they exactly taste like coffee, right?
Yes,
Even
exactly.
even my wife also makes that. I forgot the name.
Yeah,
Like
I'll
also, I think,
share the link.
yeah.
I'll share the link just
So
in
there
case.
is a perfect alternative, mothers. You don't. You don't need to give up on those. You can use the alternative instead. That's what we do.
Thank you so much. For years I've been trying. Coffee I could stop, but tea still I keep having. So
Mm.
yeah,
But
sounds good.
ideal is hot milk. Hot milk is the best. You know, very hot boiled milk. It really increases your sattva guna. Drink hot milk before you sleep a little bit, and it keeps you very fresh. But mixing that with these non-caffeine versions is also fine. You don't need to change your current way of doing things.
Thank you,
Uh,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I have one question. The bhoga or the offering should be done for all the 3 meals, right? Like for the god, like the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Is
Uh,
that correct?
Not necessary. Generally, the standard is do it once because we are all leading our family lives. It's very difficult to cook 3 times. First thing, we generally cook once or twice at most, right, at home, especially in the US and all. So the uh, the basic necessity is at least once in the morning you offer. Cook items and then offer in the morning. By the way, if you cannot offer for any reasons, at least offer some fruits and nuts. That is also all right to begin with, and mix those items with all the items you cook, right? That is again something that you can improve on later. Okay. And what is the other thing? Yeah, in the evening also, whenever you cook, you try to offer. You don't need to force yourself to cook in the afternoon and offer. Whatever standard you do, maintain the minimum. Minimum is to offer at least once a day. Okay. And
Okay, Prabhuji.
most devotees do once or twice a day. They don't really do 3 times. It's different in temple. In temple they do 6 offerings every single day. There are 6 offerings done because that is the standard of the temple. Every home can have their own standards and maintain the basic minimum standard that they want to do. It's like a transaction. Okay, Krishna, I want to offer you every day one offering, and then you maintain that at least for say 1 or 2 years, and then you can add sometimes second offering, like that. So we set some standard in our home, but we should not. Oh, you say you start offering once in the morning for one week, and next week you completely stopped offering. We should not do that. When you start, offer something minimum, at least fruits or something. You should continue to offer that every single day.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So when I was alone, sometimes I wasn't cooking in the morning. My wife was in India, and that time I used to have you know baskets of fruits, and I used to offer that. And because I used to eat in temple, so and sometimes devotees used to bring me prasadam, but it was already offered. So um, and I was very busy. Otherwise, I would just cook at least rice and dal and offer it. I can cook other items also, but minimum is rice and dal and just offer it. When I don't have it, I would offer fruits and milk. That
One
is
more
fine.
thing, see, we have to put ghee for sure. Like we put tulasi, we have to put ghee also. Is that true?
Ghee is not necessary. Ghee is not necessary. If you have it, you can offer. That's fine.
Roji, I have 2 questions.
Sure,
One
Prabhu.
is,
Jyoti Prabhu, please.
yes. One is, since we don't get tulsi the way we have in India very easily here, is
Mhm.
it okay if we use other tulsi which is available, like sweet basil or other basil, for worshipping or doing the same?
Mm, good question. I don't. I don't think so because I mean I never heard of that, so I don't want to answer that. Uh, I never heard. But if you want dry leaves, many of the devotees have them. You can ask any friends, any if you know anybody. or you can ask take from me. We have a lot of dry leaves. Ideally, you should offer fresh leaves, that you can do in India, but here, properly dried leaves we keep and use that in offering. I would have some packets any time, and I use that. But yeah, as I said, it is just we need to offer only regular tulsi.
Okay. The second question is about the caffeine.
Mhm.
We, I have a tendency and bad habit probably about sometimes when work gets very stressful, I drink coffee, and that is because my mind starts working again. So,
I
do
agree.
you
I
have
mean,
do you have
I
any
have
suggestion about how to deal with these situations?
yes, I have the same problem. I used to have headache. I when I was stressed at not now, but in the beginning stages, and there was this perfect coffee that is a perfect alternative for it. It just it works also exactly like a regular coffee. When you mix that with hot milk, uh, it it just works the same way. So I was telling about the non-caffeine version of the coffee.
Mhm.
I can send you the name after the class in our in our WhatsApp group. You can use that. It work. You don't need to stop your current you don't need to worry that you have to consume coffee. You can use the alternative version. That's all right. I mean, every one of us have this kind of situations, and there is a perfect alternative for all of this. Whenever you are in question, you can always check with me or Nitin Prabhu. We can provide alternatives for any of these situations.
Yeah, so Prabhu, it's a Pero is a coffee name.
Yes, yes, yeah, that is on pair.
I shared on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
In the
Jyoti
voice.
Prabhu, Jyoti
Yes.
Prabhu, please try
Yes.
it. I know
Yeah.
when one of our friends' mother, she came to our home. She saw the way we do, and she was like surprised with everything that we do. Uh, and she said, I want to chant the names, but I have this bad habit of drinking coffee 3 times a day. Just, you know, I can't just do without. And we gave this Pero alternative, and she started taking that, and she felt so good after that. And she replaced with her regular brew coffee with Pero coffee, and she was perfectly all right. And because this is caffeine free, it's not addictive. And slowly she reduced from 3 to 2 and 2 to 1, and now she's only drinking milk. Can you imagine? She got rid of the, and she's continuing to drink something hot that's needed for her, but she instead now she's mixing Horlicks or something, and she got out of the habit of drinking even Pero. So
That's
because
good.
it's not addictive,
Yeah.
it
I'll try
happen
it
with
out.
everyone. I have the same problem though previously, and I used to when I was studying in, especially in IIT, it was very stressful. I have this habit of drinking tea in the early morning hours, 4 o'clock, to wake up and study, and I got rid of that with milk at that time. But now afterwards, sometimes I drink Pero coffee whenever I feel a lot of stress at work.
So Prabhu, I was also a lot of, I was drinking a lot of coffee at work, like at least 2 or 3 times.
Mhm.
And there are three things I change eventually, slowly. One is I moved from coffee at that time at work, like 3 years ago. They used to get turmeric latte. Turmeric latte used to have turmeric powder,
Mm,
basically, but I don't know how they found out. And it's just a plain milk. And I started liking it because I used to add with the honey,
mm,
and I lose the taste of coffee eventually. And then second thing I added is I used to take 20 minutes nap in between, because what happens is when you need a coffee because you're tired, you're not able to focus. So that means body tells you that you need a rest, and we don't want to take rest because we are kind of in the middle of this work. But the ideal part is if taking a 20 to 10 minutes power nap, that recharges your mind and you really don't need a coffee. And third thing is, whenever I feel like drinking something, right now nowadays I just add a ginger powder with the hot water, and that's it. I don't need to add anything else.
Perfect.
So the taste of coffee and everything is just gone eventually.
Yeah. But we need some,
Yeah.
when you are in stress, you need to relieve stress.
Yes.
That's what Prabhu is saying. You can take a power nap as a good alternative, or mix ginger and drink it. So all these alternatives are very healthy and sustainable for us.
No, I'm just saying that now in 3 years, I don't feel like I'm missing a coffee or I just have urge of drinking coffee again.
Very good, very good. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you,
One
Prabhu.
more question. Talking about alternatives, so nowadays they are telling milk, whatever we get here is not really natural. They mix a lot of hormones and drink A2, and then they say A2 is also not good. 2% is not. So which one we should try? And many
That's
people
a
are.
very good question. Uh, very good question. If you are in Seattle, how many of you are in Seattle here?
Yeah, myself.
Okay. hmm So there are multiple alternatives. So one of them is our own temple in Iskon temple. We have a goshala where cows are raised naturally. They eat proper green grass and produce very sweet milk. So the taste of milk is very much proportional to the consciousness of the cow. I'll repeat what I'm saying. The taste of milk is very much proportional to the consciousness of the cow. The reason the cow's milk is not very healthy nowadays that we get outside, right? It has all imbalance of nutrients, and can cause some kind of hazards. They say non-A1 milk. Uh, so the reason is the cows are not properly taken care in the farms. They give very small space. That's where they poop. That's where they eat. Their life is very congested, and they're treated as just like a milking missions, meaning they're fed sometimes even certain injections to increase their milk production, and they're always in fear of death because once they stop giving milk, they'll be sent to slaughterhouse. Unfortunately, this is how in the modern uh, uh, you know in the modern times the cows are raised and cultivated for milk production. Unfortunately, this is completely non-Vedic. In the Vedic times, cow is treated as mother. Cow is a mother because why? Many times in the homes, when mother doesn't have milk for the babies, cow acts as the mother, isn't it? So cow is to be treated like that, worshipable, and wherever cow is happy, the land would be very naturally producing all the necessities, and people in general are very happy where cows are very much taken care. Just like they, so from one udder they drink milk, and they in the other when she stops giving milk, she will be murdered. So it's a very pathetic state of affairs. That's the reason we see so many calamities in this world, as described in Vedas. There are two most sinful activities. One is cow killing. Second is killing the babies in the womb. These are abortion. These are considered the most sinful activities. They'll have severe ramifications when these things are committed. Uh, So the point I'm trying to say is, yeah, unfortunately, the milk that we get outside in the shops, they get it so cheap. For $3 you get this big milk bottle because they produce this in an artificial way, and after that they would be sent to slaughterhouse, and they make their money the meat of the cow, um, right? So it's not ideal, but you can, as a minimum alternative, you can go for grass-fed cows. At least health-wise, it's little better. But ideally, reduce the consumption of milk outside, coming from outside, because first thing is it's not healthy. Second thing is we are part of this, um, kind of crime. Unfortunately, there is nothing. If there is no alternative, that's okay to accept it, and pray to Krishna to accept it, this milk. But if you have the opportunity, and uh, you can get milk from some places where, like, ISKCON temples have, some of the ISKCON temples in the west also have goshalas where they, it's called ahimsa milk, means the cow is maintained after it stops giving milk for the rest of its life without any sending to a slaughterhouse, or or abandoning the cows. Neither of these are done. So the cow is treated like mother. She is very much like a member of the family. That's how the temples, ISKCON temples, do. Many ISKCON temples in India have goshalas. If they can maintain, they produce. The cows. Every product is very useful. People can make very nice living with just maintaining two cows. Cow's urine is Ayurvedic. Cow's dung is Ayurvedic. They can make so many medicines. Panchagavya and other many medicines are made out of it. Especially Indian cows. Indian cows means there are these varieties of Indian cows which are naturally, they have a hump on the back. Have you seen such cows with a back hump, big hump on the uh, back? So that hump makes, it has a special nerve. It absorbs the sun's energy, and produces milk with yellow tinge. That milk is Ayurvedic. It is extremely powerful. If somebody drinks that milk at a very young age, he'll become highly naturally talented continuously if he drinks. So yeah, so those are the things. I mean, here in the West, they treat cows like any other animals. Like, they don't have any respect for the cows. Unfortunately, that spoils the quality of the milk, and naturally, it's not healthy. It's not very healthy actually to drink milk. So we rarely get milk from outside. Actually, we don't consume that much, and we consume from our temple. It's little costly because it's produced at a small scale, and cows are maintained for their lifetime. So it's not economically viable to get the same get this milk at the same cost as outside. It's almost double the cost, but the taste you can't compare. The taste of milk that we get in our temple. Nitin Prabhu, what do you say about the taste of the milk? You also consume, right?
Yes, Prabhu. My son got used to it, and he doesn't like outside milk at all.
Yeah,
He says that I don't want to drink if there is no temple milk. I don't want to drink milk.
yeah.
So that's a test that he got used to. And I remember the test when I was child. My father used to have cows, and we used to get the fresh milk,
Hmm.
and I can correlate that kind of test.
Yeah, when even when I'm very young, also in our family we used to have a cow shed and a cow. Yeah, milk is quite different in India. Um, so it has that yellow tinge that you don't find often here in the West, right?
Yes. Yes. So here, the another thing that we got benefited with this temple milk is that is like it's very hard to find a raw milk because usually by law you don't nobody sells raw milk, but we only offer it because we have Vedic cows and it's only for devotees, not outside selling. The best thing is my wife used to take a cream out of it after heating up, and we prepare the makhan for Krishna and ghee for Krishna out of those cream of the top of the milk. and that was very very like enriched. And those the malai, you call it malai in Hindi, the which comes on top of the uh, milk once it is heated, it's a fully yellowish, and the ghee becomes super yellow, and it's very very tasty. So I never, like, a lot of people from India came, and when they tasted ghee from our place, they said that they never tasted this kind of ghee in their life. So
Yeah,
think about it, the how the quality of the milk is.
amazing. I mean, we drink every day.
Yep.
My daughter also. My daughter is almost now 3 years. She only drinks. She is like so young. Uh, sometimes when we don't have cow's temple milk, we get from outside and heat it and give it to her. She just doesn't take it. She just rejects it. Uh, she doesn't like it, and she just puts the bottle. She just throws the bottle out. So she
Uh,
immediately knows.
how do we so I'm in Seattle as well, and I have been to Goshala is really far. So how do we get it do we have to go to the Iskon temple like here in um
Sabamish.
uh, Samamish?
Yeah. So
So Prabhu, I am sharing the ghee that my wife just made out of this cow, and this ghee
are you
is
sharing video,
just,
Prabhu?
yeah, and then ghee is super yellow, you can see.
Yeah, it is.
So
Can everyone see what Prabhu is showing?
so
Yeah, we can see.
It's
and
solid.
yeah, my wife just made it. And this kind of these ghee bottles, she made it only for a 1 month cow milk.
So the cow milk that we get, it really, there is so much cow ghee you can get within like a month. You feel like 2 kgs. It is full of fat. The cow
Yes,
milk is so rich. By the way, this fat is not going to cause any health hazards.
these
As
are good fat,
Yeah, Prabhuji,
HDL
HDL,
fats.
that's
HDL.
my next question. Like, my husband has like very high cholesterol, so he takes Lipitor, and then he has high, blood pressure. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped buying the temple milk I used to buy, and I used to see when I boil is full of cream, and that's why I was worried. Like, how can I give this to him with such health
I mean,
conditions?
at this point, I don't recommend because he already has. Any little addition to that is not good.
Mm-hmm.
But for anybody else who doesn't have high cholesterol, it is okay to consume this.
Especially kids
Um,
they should have.
Kids, for especially for kids, for their growth, it is very good. If they are under 15, 20 years, they can definitely consume as much as they want. Um, yeah, as we, so this, the whole idea of, cow ghee causing a lot of cholesterol in the body is all market gimmick. They want to sell these artificial dalda and all these other things as a replacement for natural cow milk and cow ghee. Uh, and that's the reason for the market propaganda, negative propaganda about consuming ghee as a reason for cholesterol. It's not actually. Uh, in fact, it is very healthy. Very healthy. It gives you all the nutrients you need. Drinking milk is the best nutrient. Because here we don't get all the nutrients. Um, Milk and dals, especially these two, are you should all have in your diet every single day.
Yes, Prabhu. I think for a cholesterol question, I'll take 1 minute. I also had a little cholesterol in the past, and my doctor, I used to go to the Ayurvedic doctor, and he always recommended never ever eat heat oil and ghee for people who has high cholesterol, and make the food without oil and ghee, and then on once you're heated up, you can put the ghee on top, and I should consume 4 spoon of ghee every day. Even for weight loss, he
Mm.
recommends consuming 4 spoon of ghee every day for weight loss. And
See,
I gone through it, and I lose 10 pounds in 3
wow.
months.
So
In,
actually, ghee is ideal to
yes.
take. Yeah, because it has the right fats. There was one very mind blowing book I read by a doctor. Actually, I can recommend that in our WhatsApp group. It clearly tells the ideal way to maintain your health. Yeah. In fact, by the way, one of my friend, his name is Madhav Chandra Das.
Yes.
He developed diabetes. Okay, he was here like 3 years back. So he developed diabetes, and he went to doctor. Doctor said, you stop doing this and start taking insulin. And he did a lot of research, and on natural way of curing diabetes, and he found you know very good alternatives, and especially consuming keto diet and certain other things where especially fat, consuming fat, uh, that would give enough energy to the body, at the same time not increase any of these sugar content in the body. And you won't believe, he has no diabetes now at all. It's
He reversed it.
completely gone. He can eat sweets also now.
Yes.
It was such a surprise. These things, the medical, none of these official medical people tell about this. They don't tell exactly what the real root cause of the problem. That's right. The whole
Yes.
modern science works in the intermediary only. They don't look at the root cause. So
Yeah.
it's all symptomatic cure. The the insulin that you take, the way it works, how it works. So the whole reason for you know having sugar in the body, high sugar in the body, is uh, glucose in the body, right? You consume, your body already has a lot of glucose, so the cells don't want any more glucose. Okay, so they don't open up themselves. Okay, now with insulin, we are forcing the cells to consume the sugar, because you have so much sugar in the body, it has to be sent to the you know sent to the body parts, and that happens only when the cells open themselves. And the cells don't open because they already have so much sugar, they reject it. So it's called insulin resistance. That is the root cause of diabetes. When insulin resistance develops in the body, the cells don't consume sugar, so they're you know they're so against this sugar coming into them. And insulin is something that is produced naturally by the body for the cells to open and consume this sugar, so that they become strengthened. That's how the whole mechanism of body works. So we all need strength. The trigger for the sugar consumption by the cells of the body is the insulin produced by the body itself, right? Now, for the diabetic patients, this doesn't happen because the insulin signal doesn't go to them. So they artificially do this injection, which is to push insulin into the body and puncture the cell to consume the sugar. Now, how long will this continue? It won't continue forever, right? Because you're going against the natural process. So the ideal solution to this is to dehydrate your body of the sugar, right? You have to take out the sugar from your body completely out. So for that, I have seen some videos which are mind blowing, and he actually followed the same system, and he got completely out of diabetes. Now he's so natural, and this diabetes is a health style problem, lifestyle problem. Sorry, not health style, lifestyle problem. By just adjusting lifestyle, you can completely get rid of diabetes or heart attack. All these problems are because of bad lifestyle, the bad eating habits, bad, all these things. And none of the doctors, none of the medical officers will tell about this secret. They only try to teach you how to symptomatically cure by, now you keep puncturing your cells by pushing insulin into your body. How long will the body continue? Now it becomes a habit. Now your cells won't open naturally until it really gets this puncture, it's external insulin into your body. So that's how you become addicted to insulin, and you become a lifelong insulin taker, or lifelong diabetic patient. It need not be with insulin. It could be like the tablets that you consume. suddenly your sugar levels drop because the cells completely start, are again on strike to consume any of this sugar in the body. So there are natural solutions for all these problems. Nobody talks about it, unfortunately. And I was very fascinated the way he was able to become normal again. And yeah, I have seen many people also follow this after that. By the way, why did we come into this discussion?
Through diet, food offering, and from there we
Okay.
said tulsi and then ghee offering. Mataji asked question, and then
And
we
then
asked question
slowly.
on the coffee and others also. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
a good.
Mataji talking about yeah, Aranya Mataji.
Yes.
I'll send you some videos. You can have a look at them and maybe adjust lifestyle so that Prabhuji can be naturally cured of all these things.
Prabhuji, we've tried everything. Like I mean, he used to go to the gym like 5 days a week and, have a trainer, food, everything control. Like for him, it's all genetic. So it's even more difficult. Like no matter what we eat.
Okay.
So when we went to India, that's when we got a second opinion from the doctor. And the doctors basically in India, they're pretty honest. And they said that if you don't take the medication has side effects, but if you don't take medication, then people can get heart attack and paralysis and all that, so it's best to take the medicine. But my husband is a non-vegetarian, so I was telling him maybe this is Lord Krishna. Like you're gonna have to become a vegetarian to get rid of your cholesterol and your blood pressure. Like I was telling him this is like you in a corner because we have tried everything. Now he's recently been diagnosed with blood pressure also, so he's now taking medication for blood pressure also.
Oh.
Yeah, because Mataji, whenever someone is taking cholesterol medicine, ultimately side effect is you will get blood pressure and some get diabetes, some get both. So it's all because of the cholesterol medicine.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And as Prabhuji was saying, it is always, I mean, not always, but most of the time, a lot
Lifestyle.
of lifestyle changes really help. It
Hmm.
might not cure you completely, but at least the dosage of the medicines can go down.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we eat very healthy, but he eats non-vegetarian like chicken, but nothing other than that, and fish. So,
Yeah. I mean,
every,
just
And
not the food, it's like your exercise a little bit because over exercising is also not good.
uh,
Sleep plays a very important role. You have to sleep,
Yeah.
give rest to your body. So all that is there. But I can message you separately, Anya Mataji. There are few people whom I follow with really for the lifestyle things. They
okay.
helped me and my
Thank
family. So
but Mataji, if you don't want to trust and you want to go to the physician, there is Ayurvedic doctor in Bellevue,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I've heard.
and he has a 25 years of experience. So many people like not sure how this video is, how authentic, and what is what is not. So in that case, one can also go to physician who has a author, who has a degree in Ayurveda as well as naturopathy, and he has cured so many patients as well. So
Sounds good. Yeah, if you can both send me some info.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
Hare Krishna.
For the
Yeah.
Ayurvedic doctor, can you please forward to the group itself? Even
yes,
Yeah.
it's
You
in
can
Bellevue,
share.
yeah, Seattle.
It's a
Yes, right.
big, it's just, there's just one Ayurvedic doctor and they are in Bellevue. It's the whole family is like doctor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mataji, are you going to share?
Sure,
Yeah.
I can do.
Okay.
Feel free to share in our group all these
Yeah, yeah.
details
Yeah,
because it
WhatsApp
will
group.
help everyone.
Yeah, yeah. WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Yes, I think today we discussed a lot of practical things, which is good. I mean, we didn't
Discuss.
start a sloka, but I think sometimes we should discuss these things. These are very
Yeah, this
important.
was very helpful. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And also, the salt we consume is also pink salt, Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
Um, so it is very good actually.
Where do you buy that, Prabhuji? From the temple or this is?
From your Amazon.com.
we get it in Costco also, Mataji, the
Yes.
Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Himalayan pink salt is also available in
Yeah,
Costco.
I want to buy like from Amazon, but then I keep thinking like, is this the right like one which is like pure and can you use this or is this something that has?
There is one brand which we use. That was recommended by one of our devotee friends. I can share that.
Sounds good.
I don't remember now. Yeah, pink salt would take away all your knee pains. Joint pains are all because of salt deposits in the body. and that should take away and blood pressure. There are many benefits that were explained about pink salt.
Mhm.
You can read about it. It's a more natural salt. Um, yeah, and then yeah, if possible, try to reduce the consumption of sugar and white salt. Right?
Yeah, I think Madhav Chandra Prabhu was mentioning about important of fasting, especially on Ekadashi. Why?
Yes. Mm.
And how that helped him to reduce the sugar level as well.
If not full day, at least
Yeah, yeah,
half
some
day you can
half day
stop eating
fast.
anything. Just fasting give the body some rest. Body would have time for the whole problem with the way we three-time eating is body is in constant operation digesting your food and transporting the nutrients, producing the excrements. It's in constant mission of serving you, consuming your the thing that you're dumping in the body, right? Now when you give some time for it, like a day or half day, it has time to regenerate itself. Though your body might feel weak, but it gives it time to recuperate itself. It processes itself, and it's a very good. In fact, there was a research done, and one of the Japanese scientists, he actually researched on fasting, intermittent fasting. He found that it is ideal to stay fast for one full day every 15 days, and that is the ideal combination, ideal way of fasting for a very healthy living. And by the way, he got a Nobel Prize. That exactly, the timing and everything exactly aligns with the way we fast on Ekadasi, which comes exactly 15 once in 15 days. So do not think that what our systems are there, they're besides being spiritually beneficial, all the recommended prescribed duties in the Vedas, they're also very materially effective. This scientist only proved that fasting and Ekadasi is ideal through scientific analysis, and he got a Nobel Prize for that. But that was already a thing that is very well known for all the people who follow Vedas, right? So slowly and slowly we will realize that everything we do in the Vedic ways, they are the best system. We may not appreciate at this point, but as science develops, ultimately we will realize the ideal eating, ideal fasting, everything is there in Vedas already, and these have been followed for thousands of years. It's not anything new. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Mhm.
Like regarding the fasting, so for diabetic people, is it advisable to do the complete 1 day fasting because they should be eating maybe an hour, like every hour or something like that, right? So is it advisable to fast for the whole day?
No, I don't want to recommend because I'm not a medically, authorized to give such advice. But I will forward you some very authentic videos which talk about the way to fast. Okay, and you need to follow certain diet for doing that, and you cannot do any, with our regular diet. So those are, they have to be followed accordingly. Then only it will have its effect. So I would recommend following this doctor. What's his name? Do you remember Nitin Prabhu? He was a MD,
Uh,
China.
Dr. Sodhi,
No,
Mataji
no.
has already shared on the WhatsApp.
Oh, you're talking about the Sodi here. I'm talking about there was a Chinese doctor.
Oh yes, I think he wrote a book, and here
Yeah,
Madhav Chandra Prabhu
it
followed him.
was a wildly famous book. It was wildly famous because
Uh,
that changed the
yes, Prabhu,
way.
I need to
Yeah, I have the book. Intermittent fasting is one, and
zero something,
yeah,
zero diet or
I forgot the name, but it was a very effective book. But he has few videos online in YouTube, which you can go through and get get some idea on what I'm speaking. But yeah, definitely worth trying that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Anything else, or we'll end the call here? Today we didn't start anything. That's fine.
So Prabhu, do you want me to share the video? I already shared the video on the Why Not to Eat Onion Garlic by Amarinda Prabhu.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you can share on the yeah, in our class. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
WhatsApp
And
group.
there is a Ekadashi video from him, but yeah, that's like too far.
No,
Yeah,
not right now.
yeah, not right now. Yeah, yeah. Okay, bro.
Prabhuji, if you could share the videos which have mentioned regarding the lifestyle changes for people with diabetes,
Yes,
so it would be helpful in the group.
yes, I'll share that. Dr. Fung, I think.
I think so, Prabhu.
Yeah, I don't remember. I have the book. I can share the
Oh, you have
video.
the book, Prabhu, exact book, or
Yes, yes. Madhachandra Prabhu forced me to buy it.
oh, oh, is it? Prabhu, just yeah, send us the Amazon link so that we may
Yeah.
order it.
I mean, I don't know. I have read barely that book, but I have watched the videos. Videos are enough.
Oh, is
But
it?
I'll share both.
Yeah,
Generally, we buy a lot of books we don't read. I
I
don't
know.
want to just spend money without using the
No, some of them are like good for people who has issues. So
yeah,
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 it's okay.
definitely. I'll send both.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we'll end the class here. I think we discussed only
Thank you very
practical
much.
aspects.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll end the class here,
Hare
and we'll
Krishna.
meet again next year. Right? Next week we'll take break. It's holiday time. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll continue from verse 14 after the break in the new year. Hare Krishna. Thank you all, everyone.
Thank you,
Hare
Happy
Prabhu.
New
Krishna.
Year, everyone.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Bol, Mataji.
Third.